A ceasefire has brought a fragile quiet to the streets of Gaza. The roar of jets, the percussive thud of explosions have been replaced by a different kind of sound. It is the sound of cautious movement, of distant traffic, and of voices that no longer need to shout over the din of conflict. This quiet, however, does not mean peace has arrived. It is merely the absence of active fighting, a pause in a cycle of violence that has left deep, visible scars on the landscape, and even deeper, invisible wounds on its people. Life now moves forward with a sense of trepidation. Every unexpected noise can cause a flinch, a reminder of how quickly the calm can be shattered. For the people of Gaza, this new phase is a daily negotiation with uncertainty. The ceasefire has pulled back the curtain on a profound housing crisis. The scale of destruction is immense. Tens of thousands of homes have been rendered uninhabitable, completely destroyed, structurally unsound. We are not just talking about broken windows, cracked walls. Entire apartment blocks have been flattened into mountains of twisted rebar and concrete. For countless families, the word home no longer refers to a physical place. It is now a memory, a collection of lost possessions buried under tons of rubble. The immediate aftermath is a scene of mass displacement. These families now find themselves in a desperate search for shelter. Many have moved in with relatives, crowding multiple families into small apartments that were already strained for space. Damaged infrastructure poses a constant low-level threat. Roads are cratered and buildings lean at precarious angles, threatening collapse. A significant and dangerous legacy of the conflict lies hidden within the rubble: unexploded ordnance. These remnants of war make playgrounds unsafe, prevent farmers from tending their fields, and turn the simple act of clearing debris into a life-threatening task. Specialized teams work to locate and neutralize these devices, but it is a slow and painstaking process. Until an area is declared clear, it remains a no-go zone, a physical manifestation of the lingering danger that permeates post-ceasefire life. Amidst this landscape of destruction, small signs of resilience begin to emerge. Shopkeepers sweep glass from their storefronts, and neighbors help each other pull belongings from beneath pancaked concrete. There is a shared understanding of loss that binds the community together. The silence of the ceasefire has provided a crucial window, an opportunity to assess the staggering scale of the needs and to begin the monumental task of recovery. But it is a window that feels as if it could close at any time, leaving the people of Gaza suspended between a devastating past and an uncertain future. The healthcare system in Gaza, already fragile before the latest escalation, is now on the brink of collapse. During the conflict, hospitals and clinics became chaotic front lines, with medical staff working around the clock under unimaginable pressure. They treated a relentless stream of trauma injuries, performing complex surgeries with dwindling supplies, often as the sound of explosions echoed nearby. Now, in the ceasefire's quiet, a different kind of crisis is unfolding. The system is overwhelmed by lingering physical injuries, by the immense needs of a traumatized population, and by patients with chronic illnesses whose care was dangerously interrupted. Hospitals are facing critical shortages of almost everything. The shelves in pharmacies are bare, lacking essential medicines, antibiotics, painkillers, insulin, chemotherapy drugs. Specialized medical equipment is in desperately short supply, much of it damaged or destroyed. Surgical wards lack sterile instruments. Laboratories cannot run diagnostic tests. A severe fuel shortage forces hospitals to depend on generators for life support machines, operating theaters, refrigeration for vaccines, and blood banks. When the fuel runs out, the lights go off and lives are put at immediate risk. One of the most profound and lasting impacts of the conflict is on mental health. Doctors and aid workers report widespread symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and deep depression. A mother named Fatima described her 7-year-old son who has stopped speaking since their building was hit. These wounded healers are the backbone of the response, yet they are exhausted, traumatized, and stretched to their absolute limit. In the aftermath of the fighting, two of life's most basic necessities, clean water and sufficient food, are in short supply. The conflict inflicted severe damage on already decrepit water and sanitation infrastructure, pipelines, wells, wastewater treatment facilities. Access to safe drinking water has been drastically reduced. The United Nations reports many are now reliant on unsafe sources. Threat of waterborne diseases, cholera and dysentery. Families queue for hours for rationed water from trucks, or try to buy expensive bottled water. Sanitation systems have broken down. Wastewater plants are non-operational due to damage and lack of fuel. Raw sewage is discharged into streets and into the Mediterranean Sea. Contamination harms the environment and limited groundwater, posing a direct health hazard, especially to children. Repairing the network needs equipment, parts, and expertise, all scarce. The food supply chain has been shattered, markets destroyed, bakeries ruined, agricultural land damaged. Roads are impassable. Farmers cannot reach fields or tend to their livestock. Fishing is curtailed by sea access restrictions and damaged equipment. Food prices have skyrocketed. Staples like flour, oil, and vegetables are unaffordable. Humanitarian aid is a critical lifeline but insufficient. Until systems recover, many will remain dependent on aid for their next meal. The economic landscape of Gaza has been decimated by recent conflict. Economic activity has been brought virtually to a halt. Small businesses, workshops, factories, closed and damaged. Storefronts shattered, inventories destroyed. Unemployment has soared to catastrophic levels. Young people face virtually no job prospects. Families once self-sufficient are now dependent on humanitarian aid or relatives. Earning a living is a core part of human dignity. Its loss devastates the social fabric. Reconstruction could create jobs and stimulate the economy, but it depends on imported raw materials and capital. Immediately, emergency cash assistance is vital. Direct cash transfers let families choose what they need and help stimulate local markets. For the children of Gaza, the ceasefire has not ended their crisis. It has only changed its form. The conflict has devastated their education and well-being. Dozens of schools were hit or repurposed as shelters. For hundreds of thousands of children, the school bell has been silenced. With schools closed and public spaces unsafe, children have little to do, days unstructured and futures uncertain. Trauma shows up as nightmares, bedwetting, aggression, withdrawal, and constant fear. Reopening schools is only the first step. Trauma-informed environments are essential. International and local groups are creating temporary learning spaces and child-friendly areas to mitigate immediate trauma. Ensuring unimpeded humanitarian access is the first priority. Food, water, medicine, and fuel must reach everyone in need. True recovery means repairing power, water, sewage, hospitals, and schools, dependent on funding and materials, and rebuilding lives, livelihoods, and hope.